Hey you guys, what is up? This is Supergirlkels. Thank you guys for coming out to another Monday video at 5 p.m. Eastern Time Zone every single week. Today is a well overdue discussion video. We started this this year and you guys have been loving it, but there hasn't really been any news going around, not only in the Smash community but Sonic in general, until now. About 2 weeks ago we had Hero that was revealed and unleashed to the world in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and has been a huge discussion and problem ever since its release. There has been debates back and forth whether or not this character should be banned. Is he too broken? Is he horrible? Etc. This has come off of his moveset. It is a complete RNG character. He is a character that's supposed to be very fitted towards the RPG playstyle where you go into your menu and pick out a move, but it's all by random. So because of this, and the moves are completely strong too. If these specials get chosen, you know, moves like Hocus Pocus and such can actually kill you at zero. Hero also has something known as a critical move where if he hits you with a forward smash or any of his smashes or even his tilts, he can land a critical hit just like in RPG games, which can result in killing you just over 10%. So this is the kind of discussion that has been coming out to the community and been causing kind of a worry throughout everybody, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts and actually talk to you guys and get an idea of what you think about Hero. So I'm going to leave some gameplay here as we begin because, you know, we're fighting Hero and we should probably learn at the same time. So this is me versus my brother Jay, who actually uses Hero as for a fun character, but is pretty dang good with him as well. So I figure we're going to leave some matches for you guys, and you can also learn the Sonic versus Hero matchup at the same time. So without further ado, let's begin. We're first going to start off with Dragon Quest. I have never personally played any of these games. Obviously, they were Japan exclusive up until very recent. They are very, very popular in terms of pop culture and gaming culture in Japan. So I think that Hero definitely deserves a spot here in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've heard about the series and I don't even live in Japan. So definitely well overdue, and I'm very, very proud of the characters for even getting in there. Each character is a different hero from a past different Dragon Quest game, all with the same exact moveset, just skins. So just thought I'd bring that up in case people are asking, okay, are they all different from each other and all that. So the reason why, again, the Hero's being discussed of being banned is because of his moveset. So we're going to talk about it a little bit in depth at the moment. As you are seeing right now, his frame data in terms of attacks are not good. So the A moves that you want to press on that controller are not the strongest. They're very slow, they're sluggish, and very laggy and punishable. But the power really comes from his special attacks. His side special, as you just saw, is a kind of lightning move where you can kind of hit it out so quickly to the point of being unreactable. It's kind of like homing attack for Sonic. It's really, really fast. You can also charge it up, and when it starts up being the full hit, it does have super armor, so you're unable to actually punish that move unless you're running to it and shielding. If you are out of range, don't think you're safe. It actually does release a couple of lightning hits at the same time. This move kills about 50%. It is extremely strong. You don't want to mess with it. So that is like kind of the big mix-up move I've seen most heroes use. So that's the big thing that's been consistent that people are worried about. His neutral B, he kind of absorbs energy. Again, I don't play the Dragon Quest games, so I don't know the name of the moves. I'm really sorry about that. But when he charges it up and releases it, it becomes some massive explosion and comes at you very quick. Of course, you can shield this move, but it will shield poke if your shield is a bit low. Also keep in mind that, yeah, it's a massive hit. It's also a multi-hit, so it's gonna go ahead and rip your shield apart. It has huge shield stun as well, and yeah, it will kill you. Again, maybe around 60-70% of this move will go ahead and kill. And now let's talk about the problem that everybody's been talking about, which is his down special. So again, down special from Hero allows him to go into a menu from his game series and collect a move from random, by the way, from all of his moves in all the games. He has about 12 moves that he can go ahead and choose off of random. The list changes every time he opens the menu. This menu can include moves that will kill you at zero, that can teleport you, that can make you big, small, and even invincible. It's extremely RNG base, it's basically having items at your disposal at all time, which of course brings in the question of should he be banned because he has his own items. Items, of course, in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate competitive play is banned. So you don't see mushrooms everywhere to make you big. You don't get the star to make you invincible. That stuff is all banned, and that is now legal in terms of Heroes play. That is the problem, because you're adding all these arsenals into one character where he doesn't even need to pick up these items. They're just kind of there. Again, they all are at random. I can't speak today. But that is the issue that's been bringing up. Of course, he does have some flaws, where if he does go into this menu, one of them called Hocus Pocus, where he can choose something at random, which will be completely overpowered, which can also result in a suicide kill and other really bad situations as well. In fact, he can actually turn himself into mini hero and can die like at 20. So he does have those disadvantages as well, but it's really comes down to those advantages that are just overpowered to the point where they can really overcome the disadvantages at any single time, especially that he can keep changing it as time is going on. So just keep in mind as well, he does have a meter of his magic. So again, this is from his games. Like in most RPG games, you do have a meter that fills up your magic, and you need to kind of maintain that mana and MP, which is what it's called here for short. By the way, you'll see right over his life as you see at the bottom. But his MP starts out at 100, and as you use more magic, he uses more, uses up his meter. You can recharge it though with just using simple attacks or while getting hit. Every second it does begin to charge. So it doesn't take too long for it to come back to 100 or so. Most moves take about, the strong ones, let's say, take about 12 to 15 MPs, while the little ones will take a lot less. One of the biggest issues with Hero is his recovery. To charge it fully and for him to even make it back onto stage, he uses up a lot of magic for that. So if you're able to gimp him and really force him to use that, he will use up all of his magic, and that's your actual chance to really get in on Hero. So that's a disadvantage. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys just a heads up about what is the issue with Hero and why is this being complained at the moment. So I wanted to make this video when Hero first came out, but I didn't want to judge him because one, it's day one. A lot of people were making that video as soon as the character dropped or was even announced without even playing against this character. I found that completely ridiculous because, you really don't know anything about this character. You're just showing off the good stuff. It's kind of like advertising a beautiful pizza, but when you try it, it's not that good. So it really comes down to that. And then also waiting for tournament results. Tournaments always tell you how that character is doing, where they are on the tier list. All tier lists are based off of tournament results, how much they are used, how much they are represented, and how well they do in tournament. So that's why it's very important. I wanted to wait for that first tournament, and luckily we actually did have Hero's first tournament that came up and was used in Super Smash Con 2019, recently in Virginia, the S tier major. So this was a perfect tournament to really see, okay, how is Hero gonna actually play out? Who's actually gonna use him in a week 2 and do actually well with him? So there were actually 2 people that actually ended up using Hero during this tournament. Well, 2 people that made top 64. Of course, there were others, but we're gonna talk about the ones that actually made it to day 3 top 64, which was Ryuga and Salem. So these 2 that have been top players in the community now. Ever since Brawl, they've been around for a very long time. Everybody knows them as top players, both of them on the PGR. So it's not a surprise seeing them in top 64, but with a 2-week-old character, that is insane. We saw Hero on stream, how he was able to actually play out against matchups and how he was able to really take stocks, but he had a lot of disadvantages in terms of approaching, in terms of getting out of a disadvantaged situation. So shoutouts to Ryuga and Salem for representing, of course, this character, because again, top, day 14 of this character and they're already doing great things. But I wanted to bring up the results because, again, that's what it's based on. If we're going to talk about when was a character banned from tournaments and from competitive play, we need to look at the history and what actually causes a character to get banned. A character that gets banned is because of a character that can't be beat no matter what you do, is constantly an advantage no matter where he is on the field, no matter what moves and such, to the point where no one else in the cast can actually keep up with this character. This has only occurred in Super Smash Bros. Brawl with Meta Knight. Meta Knight was a character that not only killed really easily, but he was just absolutely too quick when it came to his frame data. He was the only, let's say, melee player in that game where he was able to move quick, put out inputs quick, recover quickly, glide, camp. He was able to do it all, and nobody on that list was able to counter Meta Knight. He had no disadvantages of any matchups. He had nothing that was even against him. He always came up on top. It came to the point where all tournaments top 8, or even if you wanted to make top 25, were all Meta Knights. So this really came down to that ban, and it didn't even last that long. I think it lasted maybe for about 4 or 6 months, and it wasn't everywhere. It was just certain regions that did it. And they dropped the ban because most players did really enjoy Meta Knight. So because they lost half the community in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, they had no choice to just release them. And then they also started seeing that other characters were making top 8, such as Wolf and Snake. So because of this, they weren't able to really keep him banned, but that was the only instance where he was banned. Of course, if we're going to talk about Super Smash Bros. 4, so the last iteration of Smash on Wii U, Bayonetta was a very controversial character where players like Tamim, who was known as Mistake, Lima, etc., all the Bayonettas, Tweak even, were receiving death threats because of their character being able to kill other players at 0% or so around there with just a certain amount of combos. And that was very frustrating. At first, though, you have to keep in mind that this character didn't really do much up until the end of Smash 4. We saw some Bayonettas making top 8, we saw some upsets, but we never started to see a lot of results up until the end, the last year of Smash 4, where we really saw all Bayonettas reaching top 8. If you looked at the top 8, most of the players were Bayonetta. So the meta game of that character was just improving immensely, and by the end of it, it really was clear that Bayonetta was a pretty overpowered character, but again, didn't get banned because Bayonetta had matchups where she was even with, and she had issues on certain stages where she was just at disadvantage the entire time. She couldn't land properly. So she had disadvantages, which is why she never really got banned. And it also takes a lot of work to mastering a character like Bayonetta, learning how to witch twist, learning how to triple jump, learning how to do all those setups, and really reading DI to get those kills possible. So that's why the character never really truly got banned. In certain regions, she did get banned, but I feel like those regions were really just really depressed about the character and just couldn't deal with that character anymore. But if we're gonna talk about results, that's just what it is. The facts were that Bayonetta only really started to really come out the last year of Smash 4, which is when most people quit anyway. So I feel like it didn't really give a chance for people to really learn this character and get really good against her. Now, let's also talk about Smash 4 again with Double Cloud. This was in doubles, obviously, a character that can charge limits and kill you with it at 40%. So because of this, with his, of course, limit, not limit cross, but whatever it's called, y'all already know what it is, the limit. That thing killed at 40%, and all teammates had to do was throw the character into that limit blast zone, and characters and players would just die at 40% without really doing anything. Was it 40 or 60? I feel like Smash 4 was so long ago. It was either 40 or 60. But either way, that did happen. And because of this, Double Cloud had to get banned. He was literally unbeatable. Every single tournament in doubles, there was always Cloud that won. Top 8 was all Clouds. There was no way of even getting close because Double Cloud had not only the ability to kill, but also had immense combo game into those kill setups as well. So if you just got one hit by an aerial, you're probably getting knocked again by the other Cloud, and then the other Cloud, and then the other, and it just never ever ended. So because of this, they have to put the ban on Double Cloud. One Cloud was still able to play towards the end of Smash, but literally it did have to be done. It was too much to the point where no other characters were able to stand a chance against this team, and even players who, let's say, we're not ranked very high in the community, we're getting wins off of top players just because of using this team. So that's when you know it's time to make a decision. So let's go ahead, now that we talked about bans, even in Melee, a game that is completely imbalanced, and y'all say Fox is the best character of all time, he has weaknesses. Jigglypuff tends to do well against Fox and Millie, and we see Falco doing great in Grand Finals and all that. So it's not like Fox is unbeatable. He does have some disadvantages and all that. So now that we came across that and spoke about when bans actually occurred, we can talk about Hero and if he deserves to be banned. First off, let's talk about Super Smash Con. Again, Salem and Ryuga got 49th out of 2,709 players at Super Smash Con 2019. Again, this is a week 2 character. The meta is extremely early, but they did that well. They are top players. They understand how other players think, how other players play. So it doesn't say anything bad, and it doesn't say anything good as well. That's a very good placement at an S tier event, and it can also be better. So that's just a neutral game that any other character can get in this game. We've seen Zelda's in top 48 or whatever, so it's definitely still okay. Now we're gonna talk about his moveset. We talked about what is broken, but let's talk about his disadvantages, because again, for a character to be balanced, he has to have disadvantages. I mentioned his frame data. Hero's frame data is absolutely horrible. It is so slow. He lags after every aerial. Any hit, even jab, F-tilt can be punished. It is not safe to go ahead and do a neutral air or a fair like Lucina in just neutral. It's not safe. Like, he is just so slow. He has a hard time catching his opponents. Honestly, if he uses his Omf, or if he uses anything in terms of increasing his power, it literally can just be camped. It's not consistent at all, and that's something about this character that is a disadvantage, is that he's not consistent because he is constantly in the menu, but it being at random, he can't control what he wants and when, and because of that, that creates RNG, and RNG can be really bad sometimes. If you have horrible movesets and you need something to bring it back, you're not going to get it back, especially if you're in disadvantaged state. And something about Hero as well is that when he is being pressured, he can't handle it. He can't land. He has horrible landing because of his lack of recovery options and the lag that he has when he does land. You can literally walk up to him, and if you see him in his menu about to press something, you can just shield all of his attacks. So you just have to keep that in mind. Another thing is also platforms. Platforms allow you to really run away from him. Of course, it creates landing options for him, but you can get to wherever you need to be instead of falling into his traps as he's throwing something to catch your landings. So I feel like on platforms, he struggles a lot. So let's talk about his advantage states. That was a lot of disadvantage. Like, you need to keep that in mind. It's 2 weeks, and people are already very aware of where does Hero struggle, and it's very easy to exploit. So let's talk about his advantage. So the fact is that you never have a lead against Hero. As you guys are seeing now in the footage, he literally is always in the game. If you are 2 stocks behind, if he does have that good RNG and gets those critical hits needed, he can bring it back and take the game, which is what makes him a good character. And you can't deny that he isn't a good character. He's a good character. He's a great character. Just the fact that he does have that kill power makes him immensely dangerous. It's not like the Game & Watch 9, because that is RNG through one move, but this is RNG through several moves that can really bring things back, not only through specials, but through smash attacks as well. So this is also another advantage that was a disadvantage, the fact that you can get bad RNG, you can get good RNG. If you have a list of really great moves constantly at random, then congratulations, you're probably coming back and taking the game, and that's what's really scary about him. It's up to the opponent to play defensively and smart and play perfect at all times so that Hero doesn't get the ground that he can get. So also another thing I want to talk about is his range. Even though he is a little bit laggy and he isn't really safe when putting out aerials, the character has some range. He really does. I feel like his sword is a bit disjointed to the point where he can throw out something and you think that you're out of range, but he's actually going to hit you. Depending also on which magic spell he does have, it does increase that range, and it does increase where you think you are. So it's yeah, that's a little bit dangerous, of course. And having a sword, and you all know in this game in Ultimate, swords are really, really good for spacing you out, baiting, and punishing you as well. And lastly, for the advantage states, let's talk about him on flat stages. Flat stages, Hero is able to run around. You can't really camp him that much because there are no platforms for you to escape to. If he gets you in the air, he can throw out something just as you have no choice to land and can cover that. He can cover edge options as well with such a big hitboxes coming from his specials. So that really makes him a huge threat in terms of flat stages, especially in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's competitive play. There are a lot of flat stages. We have Kalos, Pokemon League, we have Pokemon Stadium 2, we have Town and City, and other regions have other stages as well. There are 3 of them, and you only get 2 bans, so you have to keep that in mind, that there will always be a flat stage available to this character. And that's what can make things very dangerous, especially that lately tournaments have not had any what is that word again? DSR. There has not been DSR at tournaments lately for some reason. So because of this, if you lose on that stage, that character can bring you back to it and you will leave one stage open, and that makes it very, very dangerous. Let's talk about doubles, because like we were talking about Cloud is fine in singles, even though he was a top 5 character, as we could talk about in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, but in doubles was really where he strived to the point of getting banned in terms of using double Cloud. I do believe that this character will be a more of a threat in doubles than singles. Because of having a partner, Hero can stay away and play the support role of staying back, helping out his partner, or can charge whichever magic, getting whatever he wants in his menu with time, while the other player and teammate can just go ahead and, you know, distract the players while he goes ahead and gets his stuff. If the partner grabs at any point, Hero can simply just walk up to you, get what he needs in his menu, because he will have the time to shuffle and go through wherever he needs to, and can get the kill he needs. So I feel like doubles is where he's going to shine at most, and that's where I'm mostly worried. I don't think double Hero will be a threat because, again, bad aerials, frame data isn't so good, but I think having a Hero on your side might become, in time, the play here for doubles. I think he's going to be really good in terms of follow-ups. He's going to be really good if setups, and of course the kill power potential that he has. So that's the real danger that I think is going to be coming over here. But yeah, I think that doubles is really the key. So honestly, guys, that is my thoughts on Hero. It's still very early. Let's talk about the fact that this is very early meta. This is week 3. You only really start seeing characters develop in years, and the game is still fresh and new. There are metas from day 1 that are still developing, like Zelda or Sonic or other characters. They are still developing, and I feel like Hero is going to be one of them with a lot of tools at his disposal, but he's going to have to play super smart if he wants to get what he wants and continue to lab with everybody who's using this character to get really what he wants. I think that his meta is going to develop a lot. I think we will be seeing Heroes in top 8 as time will go on, but I don't think Hero is going to win a major if he doesn't have help with a secondary, or if he doesn't have help in general. I think that he lacks a lot when he is pressured and when he is camped all at the same time, and bait and punish. So I think that's where the issue really comes in with Hero, and that is why he is not maybe a top 5 character, but I do think he could be a top 15 character, indeed, if not maybe even a top 10, if we're proven right as the meta continues to develop. So we're going to end things off over here. I want to know about your opinions off of Hero, and are you guys enjoying him? He is super fun to play as. I've been having a really good time even fighting him and screaming my lungs off whenever he tries to get Hocus Pocus on me. So let me know what you guys think about Hero. I want to know everything in the comments. I just want to start a discussion. I support everybody, of course. This is my opinion. Just thought I'd say that. Again, shout outs to Mirage J for going ahead and using Hero at the moment for the gameplay that you guys are seeing. It's really great gameplay for Hero. So shout out to him. Go follow him at JMK_. You guys can stay updated with not only his Pokemon trainer, but everything else he does on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Visit my website, www.supergirlkels.com. Thought I'd say that because now I got myself Supergirlkels.com. No longer SGK. It is official. I'm very excited over that. So you guys don't have to type the extra work anymore. You can just go my user and that is it. But head on there for some tournaments, knowing when I stream, news, merch, and more that you can't really get anywhere else. So check it out. Next week, I'm going to be posting my first ever matchup chart of Sonic. We're going to do it together since the first season is over. I want to talk about where Sonic struggles, where he doesn't, and I think it'll be a good end off to the summer of Sonic. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.